in this video, I'm going to talk about technical SEO. What is technical SEO? What are the factors responsible for technical SEO? We will learn all these things in this particular video. So let's start with the basic definition of technical SEO. Technical SEO refers to the website and server optimization that help search engine spider, or you can say crawler, and index your site more effectively to help improve your organic ranking. As we all know that in SEO, we have on-page SEO, we have off-page SEO. In case of on-page SEO, we work on website on the page of our website, like your title, meta description, header, images. In case of off-page SEO, we work on the back side of your website, or you can say external of your website. In case of off-page SEO, we work on the backlinking part. We create different backlinks there. But in case of technical SEO, we work on SEO technically. Technically means speed of SEO, server errors of SEO, or all the factors which are responsible for technically ranking of your website. Technical versus non-technical SEO. Here we have two types of things. One is your technical, another one is your non-technical. In case of non-technical, we are using on-page and off-page SEO technique, but in case of technical, we are using technical SEO. Technical SEO. In case of technical, we work on sitemap, site structure, URL formatting, canonicalization, pagination, structure data markup, optimizing for speed, site accessibility, redirection, Robots.TXT, crawler issues. In case of technical, we work on all these important factors. In case of non-technical, we work on keyword, content relevance, search intent, paid promotions, competitor analysis, link building, social PPC, content optimization, images or video SEO. So now let's understand why technical SEO important. Why we are saying that technical SEO is one of the most important factor of SEO. Search engine need to be able to find, crawl, render and index the page of your website. And that's the reason we need technical SEO for finding, for indexing and for crawling. With the help of technical SEO, we do this kind of work which is very important. Your site to be fully optimized for technical SEO. Your site's pages need to be secure, mobile optimized, free of duplicate content, fast loading and 1,000 other things that go into the technical optimization. You make it easier for Google to access your content, the better chance you have to rank. Now the question is, how can you improve your technical SEO? So these are some of the important factors which we will discuss in detail in our further videos. These are some basic techniques of technical SEO which helps us in improving our technical SEO score. Starting with your JavaScript, your XML sitemap, site structure, URL structure, structured data, thin content, duplicate content, href lang, canonical tags, 404 pages and 301 redirects. These all are the important factors responsible for technical SEO. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Google Search Console, which is one of the most important tools of Google which helps us in doing technical SEO. So let's start with what is Google Search Console. Google Search Console is a web service by Google which allows webmaster to check index status and optimize visibility of your website. Let's understand some brief history about the Google Search Console. Until 20 May 2015, the service was called Google Webmaster 2. And in January 2018, Google introduced a new version of the Search Console which changes to the user interface. Now the question is how to use Google Search Console in technical SEO. So the Search Console lets you easily monitor and in some cases resolve server error, site loading issues and security issues like hacking, malware. You can also use it to ensure any site maintenance or adjustment you make happen smoothly with respect to search performance. So these are the ways how you can use your Google Search Console. Now, you can use Google Search Console to receive important messages or the warning about the healthiness of your website. That is any malware issue, any security issue or any error happening in your website, you can get detail in your Google Search Console. Just to find out how many pages are indexed by Google or how many pages are not indexed by Google, or just to make these pages again re-index, you are using Google Search Console. To find out how many links are pointed to your site, you need Google Search Console. To troubleshoot crawling and indexing issues, you need Google Search Console. To see detailed information on what keyword your site is associated with and your ranking position in Google search results, we need Google Search Console. So these are the things we need Google Search Console. Let me show you one live demo on Google Search Console, what it is, how you can log in or how the Google Search Console works. For this, let me visit on Google and we simply type Google Search Console. Here, simply click on that, click on Start Now, and as my website is already registered on Google Search Console and that's why we can directly log in, or if your website is not directly connected, then you need to mention your website name here and then connect. For example, this is my website here, this is the domain name of my website. I simply copy the domain name and I simply mention that particular name and I click on continue. In that case, Google Search Console will check my verification status, and if it's not verified, then it show me a code, and that particular code we need to copy and do verify. This is the code here which help you to verify, or just to connect your website with the Google Search Console, you need to take help with the one of the tool here, that is the Google tool. Let me show you the live demo. In Google Search Console, you can figure out your property just like in the search property. You simply click on that. As my website is already connected with Google Search Console, but if your website is not connected with Google Search Console, for this, let me explain you some few steps by which you can simply connect your website with Google Search Console. For this, let me log into my WordPress website. In your WordPress website, you have to install one plugin, that is Google Site Kit. Let me show you that particular plugin. With the help of this, you can simply connect with your Google Search Console account. This is your Site Kit by Google. You have to install this particular plugin and then do setting, and in your setting you have to click on Google Search Console and then you can simply connect your Google Search Console with your. So this is after done with the connection part, this is how your Google Search Console look like. In your Google Search Console, we have overview section here. In case of overview section here you can see the performance of your website. That is the number of click, whatever be the number of click here. That is the coverage here. That is the experience here. That is the enhancement here. So you can just look it over here. In case of overview section. In case of performance section, here we can monitor the performance of our website. Here you can see that we have total clicks, we have total impressions, average CTR, average position, and this is the last updated data, and this is the filters here, that is your search type, web, your average position 20.8. Next we have URL inspection. In case of URL inspection, we inspect every single page of our website. For example, for our website, this is our website, and let me open one page here, that is here about us, and let me check is this particular URL already indexed on Google or not. For this, let me copy that and let me check that in our URL section. Then just retrieve data from the Google index, and if this page is indexed, then it shows indexing, and if it is not indexed, then it shows that URL is not on Google. there may be some error on that particular page while loading. That's why it's displaying here. And then you have to click on request indexing to re-index your page. After done with that, next we have coverage. Coverage show us a coverage report. Let me show you. Next we have coverage. Coverage shows us a coverage report in which we have error. If there is any error here, then that's reflect here. If any URL valid with warning, then it's reflect here. Valid, reflect here. Excluded, reflect here. Any URL that should be excluded just because of any error or because of your Robots.TXT file, that is included here. After that, we have sitemap. If you want to create sitemap, then you have to simply type your sitemap here and then click on submit. Just like this is a sitemap already set here. Then you have some removals. Then your experience section. In case of experience section, we have page experience, core web vital. These all are the important features of the technical SEO which we will learn in our further videos. My AMP, breadcrumbs, if you want to create breadcrumbs and check, then you have to click on that. After that, you have site link and search box. Then we have security and manual actions in which we check is there any security issue in our Google Search Console. When we click on manually, here we see that we have no issue detected. Again, when you click on your security issue, if there is any issue in your website, any malware issue, in that case, that is reflected here. You can check it from here. Then we have legacy tool and report. In that case, we have some links here. You can get the status of the linking, like top linking pages here. You can see top linking site, top linking text. You can see from here. Then we have setting. If you want to do any Google Search Console setting, then you can do it from here. And you can also check where the last scroll happens. Index crawler, that is your Google board desktop. Property added to account. You can check all this information from here only. So this is all about your Google Search Console. This is just an overview about your Google Search Console. How to do technical SEO with the help of Google Search Console. We will discuss it in our further video. In this video, I'm going to discuss about crawling and indexing, which is the most important part of technical SEO. In this video, we will cover all the errors related to your website due to which your website is not ranking. So, just look it carefully. So, let's start with the basic definition of crawling and indexing. What exactly the crawling and indexing is? So, crawling. Crawling is a web crawler. It is a software program that follow all the links on a page leading to a new page and continue this process until it has no more new links or pages to crawl. So this is your crawling. In case of indexing, as the word suggests, indexing is storing and organizing the information found on the pages. The board renders the code on the pages in the same way a browser does. It catalogs all the content, link and meta tag on the pages. So this is your indexing. Now we have one report in our Google Search Console. Is a tool here which helps us to monitor all the errors related to our website. So in crawling and indexing, in this particular topic, we will learn what are the indexing report and how indexing report work. Here we have one report which is known as index coverage report, which is available in your Google Search Console, and it shows you which of your page have been successfully indexed by Google or which page have been indexed because of an error. For each of the pages, you can get more detail about the error, and you have the option to request Google to re-index your web pages or website as a whole. Let me practically explain you how to find the errors in your index coverage report. For this, we simply visit on our Google Search Console. We simply visit on coverage and go to our index coverage report, and then we will explore these four options here, and then we will find and investigate our errors here. Let me explain you practically. Here, this is the website. In this particular website, this is the Google Search Console of this website here. This is the overview. This is the URL inspection. This is the performance part, and this is your indexing part. In your indexing, we have one report known as coverage. You have to first click on coverage. In this, we have 4 options here: error, valid with warning, valid, and excluded. Here you can see 4 status here. First, let me explain you first. For this, we have one option here. Here you can add filter in this particular report. That is all non-pages, all submitted pages, or filter to sitemap. Whatever be the pages you added in your sitemap, you can also apply filter for that. The primary crawler is your smartphone, and the last update is 7/26/22, means yesterday. Okay, so let me explain you one by one. First, we have error. It shows how many errors you have in your website. These are the pages that could not be indexed for some reason, and these pages would not appear in Google, which can mean a loss of traffic to your site. For this, what we can do, this is our error, and here we can see errors detail. Now we have 2 types of error here. One is your server error, and one is your. We have different kind of error that can be occur, and in this particular video, we will learn all these errors, whatever is the possibility of any particular error, and how to resolve that. Here we have 2 types of errors. So when we simply click on one error, then we can get detail like we have affected pages that is fixed, and these are the link of these affected pages. Next we have valid with warning. Here you can see these are the details. These are the warning signs, and this is here. These are your valid links, and these are your excluded. Excluded just because of some Robots.TXT file that can be possible. So these pages would not appear in Google, but that are probably intentional, not due to any error. They are just intentionally you put it in your excluded part. That is your excluded coverage. The next we have the troubleshooting process has 2 parts. First is identify the error, and second is to understand the error and fix them. And as in my report, as we already know what are the errors and what are the affected pages who are having errors. So now the second work is to understand the error, and as we already see this particular report, and make sure that only the error tab is highlighted, and scroll down to the detail section. And here in the detail section, as we know that we have different types of errors available. Now the errors are grouped into categories. These are some types of error which you can see. First is your server error, which is your 5-axis error. Next you have redirect error. That can be issue regarding redirecting, that your page is not redirected. Server error 5-axis means that for that particular point of time when the Google crawler crawl your website, might be there is any server error at that point of time. Submitted URL seems to be a soft 404 error. It means that you have any broken page, or when your crawler load your page, might be there is any server error due to which 404 page. Submitted URL marked no index, might be your page is mentioned in your no index. Might be you block your particular link by Robots.TXT file. So that is the submitted URL blocked by Robots.TXT. Submitted URL written unauthorized request, that is your 201 error. Submitted URL has crawl issue. For this, we again need to do crawl start, and again we need to do reindexing. Submitted URL not found 404. So these are the some type of error which you can see in your website. Now let's resolve the issue. How to fix submitted URL has crawl issue error. A crawl issue means that a page has a problem and a Google cannot index it. You need to fix out what exactly is the issue, fix it, and resubmit the page. For this, what we have to do, we have to simply visit to our inspect URL button and then view crawler page, and then more. These are the steps we have to. Let me explain you practically how you can do it. For this, let me click on coverage. Let me just take one URL. This is the URL. Click on this copy sign and then test this URL. How to do testing of URL? For this, we have to simply open one tab, simply enter the link here, and simply click enter. If this page is actually exist, if this page is 404, it means there is an error happened. Then again, let me take another URL and let me check that. See, this page is fine. Here is no issue in this page, and here we can see that we have completely detail available. So this is not here for 104 error page. For this, what we can do here, we simply visit on URL inspection, and here let me check what are the issues. In your URL inspection, what you can do, you have to simply click on URL inspection. You have to inspect your URL here, and here you can check either this URL is on Google or not. Here you can see that URL is not on Google, and you have to click on test live URL. In this, we are doing live testing, that is if page actually exists or not. Or you can do also live testing. Just open a new tab, mention that particular link there, and when your page is absolutely fine and now you want to re-index, that is also a kind of live testing URL. So in your live testing URL, here, just we wait for a minute and then let me check this URL is actually on Google or not, or this URL is actually exists on. So here you can see that URL is available on Google but has issue. It means that is on Google. For this, you have to simply scroll, and here you can see that mobile page is not mobile friendly. That is one of the error here, and that is scroll in the last 27 July 2020. Content wider than screen, clickable element to close to it. When you resolve these issues in your website, after that you can simply click on URL inspection, mention that, and you can simply do re-indexing. Here we have an option here, that is re-request indexing. You have to click on that, and now your request will submit, and then URL was added to a priority tolerance. Submitting a page multiple times will not change its queue position or priority. That is also one of them. Then this is how you can do URL inspection. This is how you can resolve any error to your website. This is the best method we have. Let's move to the topic. How to fix URL has crawl issue. If your URL has crawl issue, that is one of the most common reasons why a page might have crawl issue, is that some of the page resource, that is your image, your CSS, JavaScript, could not be loaded when Google tried to index the page. That can be one of the reasons. So for this, what you have to do, how to fix your submitted URL not found 440. So these kind of errors are easy to fix. What it means, it is that a page could be found by the Google bot at the time. In most of the cases, this can be a false alarm. So the first thing to do is to check that the page is correctly found or not. And how to do that? For this, you have to simply copy that link, test live, and then check whether that page is 404 error, or whether the page is fine or not. When you find that your page is fine, then you have to simply click on inspect URL, as we previously discussed. Then while wait to get the data for the Google index, open a new browser window and type the URL. If the page is found on the website and you want to add it on the Google indexer, then you have to click on test live button, as we previously did. Click the request indexing, go back the report and click the validate. When you do validate fix, for validate fix, we have to completely resolve all the errors of your error site. If you are done with all the error part, then you will click on validate fix option. Next we have how to fix server error 5. The page listed here could be assessed by the Google bot either because the server was down or not available at the time. Normally, you should not have any server error reported. If you have a lot of errors, then this means that your server has issue and you should navigate more to find out why. If you have a few errors, then most probably the page could be assessed temporarily, and this means that you can request from Google to re-index the page. For this, we have to follow one process here, that is, click on one of the affected page and you will get a menu with the option on the right. And as we already discussed in our server error, as we already see that we have the list of URL available there. For this, we are simply doing inspection, and that is also one of the processes to resolve your server error. Now, how to fix redirect error? For redirect error, when you get, it means that the page could not be assessed by the Google bot because it redirects to a page that does not exist or not. And what's the procedure of fixing your redirect error? That is the same. You have to click on your inspect URL, then get more detail about the error. Click on test live URL, fix the error on request indexing, and then click on validate. If everything is okay and the error is fixed, then you will see a fast message in the validation column. This is how you can fix your redirect error. Now, how to fix your submitted URL seems to be a soft 404 error. When you get a soft 404 errors, it means that the page was not found because it does not exist. But instead of telling search engine that it should be ignored, it returned to a valid code. And you may have pages on your website that cannot be accessed directly, but only after a user completes a specific section. For example, when you're done with your checkout part, then you will visit on your billing part. So that is one of the example here. Let's say that your checkout page is only shown to after they have added an item to their shopping cart. This is one of the ways. If you still have the page listed in your sitemap, and Google will try to crawl it, but it will not find it because no item was added to the cart. So in that cases, you are facing soft 404 errors. How to fix your submitted URL marked no index error. This is not actually an error. What this means is that a page was submitted for indexing for your sitemap, but it has the no index directive which instructs search engine not to add it to their index. What you should do is review the list of the pages that have the no index tag and make sure that you don't want them to Google index. If a page was wrongly tagged as a no index, remove the page from the page directory from the header and request index in the same way as we previously did. Now, how to fix submitted URL blocked by Robots.TXT. That is a page as submitted for indexing through the sitemap, but there is a rule in your Robots.TXT file that instructs search engine not to index it. So you should follow same procedure. Check if the page are supposed to be blocked from the Google index or not, and if you find the page should not be blocked, in that case you have to simply remove that URL from the Robots.TXT file and again request re-indexing. Now, how to fix submitted URL return unauthorized request, or you can see 401 error. It means a page is included in your sitemap, but Google can't access it because it is password protected. That type of error is having 401 error. Since these pages are not publicly available, so you should remove them from your sitemap, add a no index directory in the page header, block the directory or protected areas if in your Robot.TXT file. So this is one of the ways to resolve this particular error. Now, how to use the URL inspection. URL inspection is a tool and which allows you to check the index status of a page of your website and troubleshoot error or request Google to re-index your website as we previously did. To use the URL inspection tool, we have to just type any URL to the inspect area as we already did in our demo session. You can either enter your website domain or a specific URL. In URL inspection tool, that can be used to troubleshoot errors reported in the index coverage report and resubmit your website to Google or resubmit a particular page to Google. That is the use of your URL. Now, how to resubmit your website? For this, we have to simply visit on our URL inspection tool, and then we have to click on. Then we have to mention our URL there, and then we have to click on request. When to use request indexing feature? This is one of the most important points. Google is a very good at picking up the changes made to a website or web page. So, in the majority of the cases, you don't need to use the request indexing feature. Some valid uses are when you migrate domain, from HTTP to HTTPS, when you make a website redesign, when you publish time-sensitive news and you want to inform Google about it. So in that cases, you need pre-indexing. So in this video, I'm going to talk about preferred domain. what is your preferred domain, should you choose preferred domain or not, or how you can choose your preferred domain, and what are the important things you have to keep in mind when you are choosing your domain name. So these are the things we are going to discuss in this particular video. So let's start with your preferred domain. So when setting up your website or a blog, you need to specify your preferred domain. What is your preferred domain? For example, your domain name is example.com, or you have www.example.com. So they both are domain name. If you are not setting your domain name, if you simply just domain name this and this, in that case your Google crawler will consider these are the two websites, website 1 and website 2. But if you set your preferred domain, that is example.com and www.example.com, then Google will consider it as a one domain. So by doing so, you instruct search engine as to which variation of the domain you want to use throughout the lifetime of your website. Now the question is www and without www. What is that? A website by default is accessible with www.example.com and without www in front of a domain name. For example, you can see it here. This is with www and this is without www. Now, why we need to set a preferred domain? It is confusing for the search engine because they consider these are two different websites. This means that you may encounter indexing issues, duplicate content problem, and loss of page rank. So that's the problem we need to resolve. Just to resolve this problem, we need to set our preferred domain and inform the search engine about our choices. So now the question is, should I choose www or non-www domain name? Which domain name is better? Now the question is this. So this is totally depend on your personal preference. What type of domain name you want? There is no SEO effect on your www and non-www domain name. So this is your preference. This is all up to you which type of website now you want. Now, these are the three most important things we have to take care when we are going to set our preferred domain. First is to configure your website to listen to only one of the variation. Second, to let Google and the other search engines know what is your preferred choice. And the third is to be consistent and use the chosen variation when adding internal links to your content or when running link building campaign. Now, how to set your preferred domain in Google? For this is the best SEO practice which suggests you have the canonical URL set for each and every page of your website. For every canonical link, we have this particular code here. You can simply set this canonical tag here. With the help of this particular tag, you can set your preferred domain, or the next option of setting your preferred domain in your WordPress website. I will show you a live demo on that. For this, we have to simply visit on our WordPress. We simply log in our WordPress account, and in this we have one option here, that is setting. With the help of the setting option, we can do setting of our WordPress account. In this, we have option here, that is general. In general, now we can set our preferred domain here. We have one option here, that is your WordPress URL and your site address. In that case, whatever be the site address you mention, if you mention it as a www. Then your website address will reflect here. And if you set it without www, and here you can see that your preferred domain will be without www. So this is how you can set your preferred domain with the help of WordPress website. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Robots.TXT. What is Robot.TXT file? What are its uses and what are its implementation? How we create your Robots.TXT file? Let me explain you in this particular video. Hello everyone, I'm Shivani and welcome to WsCube Tech. So let's start with basic definition of our robots.txt file. Robot.txt file is basically a text file that resides in the root directory of your website and gives search engine crawler instruction as to which pages they can crawl and index during the crawling and indexing process. What happened here? Let's suppose this is your website, and when your web spider visit to your website to crawl and index your information, in that case they first visit to your robots.txt file. In this particular file, we explain which particular file you have to read, you have to crawl, or which particular file you have to not to crawl. In this, we just mention some coded format which instruct your web spider not to crawl which particular page. By default, web spider visit to your website and read all the information of your website. Robots.txt, that is a plain text file and that follows robots exclusion standard. A robot.txt file consists of one or more rules, and each rule block or allows access of a given crawler to a specified file path in that website. Now, let me explain you some robots exclusion standard. These are the robots exclusion protocols, or simply your robots.txt, which is a standard used by the website to communicate with your web crawler and other web robots. It means how to explain the web robots about which area of the website should not be processed or scanned. Now, what happens if you don't have a robots.txt file? If a robot.txt file is missing, then the search engine crawler assumes that all publicly available pages of the particular website can be crawled and added to their index. Now, what happens if I accidentally block search engine from accessing my website? That's a big problem, because in that case, for starters, they will not crawl and index pages from your website, and gradually they will remove any page that are already available in their index. Now, do you need a robots.txt file? That's a big question in front of us, because if we don't have robots.txt file, then our every information Google search crawler will crawl. Then why we need this particular file? We need to have a robot.txt file even if you don't want to exclude any pages or directory of your website from appearing in the search engine result. Now, why we do that? We have some most common use cases of your robots.txt file, and they are, that is, just to block search engine from accessing specific pages or directory of your website. For example, look at the robot.txt file, we notice that this allow rule. We have two type of rule here. One is your allow, which allow your search engine crawler to crawl that particular link, and next is your disallow. In your disallow rule, here you can mention that particular file path or the page path which you want that your search engine crawler will not crawl. When you have a big website, crawling and indexing can be a very resource intensive process. So crawling from various search engines will be trying to crawl and index your whole website, and this can create a serious performance problem. And when you decide to use your URL clocking for your affiliate link, this is not the same as clocking your content or URL to trick users or search engines, but it's a valid process for making your affiliates link easier to manage. Now, we have two important things to know about your robots.txt file. The first is that any rule you add to your robots.txt are directives only. This means that it's up to search engine to obey and follow that particular rule. In most of the cases, they do. But if you have content that you don't want to be included in their index, the best way is to make it password protected, the particular directory or page. The second thing is that even if you block a page or directory in robots, it can still appear in the same result. And if it has links from other pages, that are already indexed. In other words, adding a page to the Robots.TXT does not guarantee that it will be removed or not appear on the web. So these are the two most important things about your Robots.TXT file. Now let's move to the functioning of your Robots.TXT. How does your Robots.TXT file work? So the robots file have a very simple structure. There are some predefined keyword or the values combination we can use. See, we have one is your user agent. User agent will specify which crawler should take into account the directory. You can use into reference all the crawler or specific the name of the crawler. Here, if you are using this particular asterisk sign, this is our asterisk sign, which means for all the crawler. For example, if you mention user agent asterisk, it means this particular node is for all the crawler. If you mention their Google bot, it means that these instructions are only for Google bot. The next keyword we have is disallow. In case of disallow, it means that the directory that instruct a user agent. If you mention user agent struct, it means for all crawler. If you mention your user agent as a Google bot, it means for Google bot that not to crawl a URL or path of a website. This is the functioning of disallow. Next we have allow. In case of allow, what we do, the directory that tells explicitly which page or subfolders can be accessed. This is applicable for Googlebot only. And you can use the allow to give access to a specific subfolder on your website even though the parent directory is disallowed. For example, you can disallow access to your photos directory but allow access to your BMW subfolder which is located under photos. This is just an example here. Here you can see that in user agent string means for all crawler, you can disallow this particular photos subfolder and you can allow one particular photo with the help of allow keyword here. Next we have crawl delay. In case of crawl delay, you can simplify a crawl delay value to force search engine crawler to wait for a specific amount of time before crawling the next page from your website. And the value you entered is in milliseconds. So it should be noticed that the crawl delay is not taken into account by Google. Now, the last keyword we have is sitemap. The sitemap directory is spotted by the major search engines, including your Google, and it is used to specify the location of your XML sitemap. XML sitemap, as we all know, XML sitemap, this is a particular file where we mention all the link of our pages just to inform your search engine crawler about the every single link mentioned in your website. Even if you don't specify the location of the XML sitemap in the robots, then the search engine are still able to find out. For example, here you can see this is your domain name. And after your domain name, just put your backslash and mention your sitemap.xml. Now, the question is how to create a robot.txt file. Let me explain you two ways of creating your robot.txt file. One is your manual method of setting your robots.txt file. And the next method, if you are working on your WordPress website, the next method I will explain you with the help of one particular plugin. So creating your robots.txt file is very easy and all you need is a text editor like your bracket or your notepad you can use and access to your website's file via FTP or your control panel. And before getting into the process of creating a robots file, the first thing is to check if you already have one. For this, we can simply mention our website name and we can simply put a backslash and mention our robots.txt. And if you see something similar to the one below, that it means that your file is already created and you can add the existing file instead of creating a new one. Now, let me explain you how you can check if your robots.txt file is already created or not. For this, let me explain you with the help of one demo here. See, here how you can check your robots.txt file is already created or not. See, for example, this is my domain name. Put your backslash there and type robots Press enter. And here you can see that we have some statements like this: your user agent, allow, disallow, and your sitemap. So it means that our file is already created, and what we need to do, we need to simply do editing in this particular file. Next, how to manually create your robots.txt file. So for creating your robots.txt file, you have to simply open your notepad and you have to simply type this statement: user agent, allow, disallow, and you have to simply put which page you will allow, which page you are not allowing. You have to simply put by this way. You have to simply mention your sitemap link there in your robots.txt file. Second, let me explain you with the help of one particular plugin for creating your robots.txt file. Here I am taking help of one of the important plugin which is known as all-in-one SEO. This is your all-in-one SEO. You have to simply download this particular plugin. You have to install that with the help of this plugin section. And in this particular section, what you need to do, you have to simply go to tools section. In this tools section, when you click, then your robots.txt editor is here. In this particular editor, it allows you to set up a robots.txt file for your site, and that will override the default your robots.txt file that WordPress created. And by creating this particular file with the help of this, you have a great control over the instruction you can give to web crawler about your site. So here you can see, you have to simply click on this open robot.txt file preview if your file is already created. If not, then you have to simply click on this enable custom robots.txt file for adding your own role. If you don't want, then you have to simply close that. This is by default your robots.txt file is created. But now if you want to add some custom robots.txt file rules here, you have to simply click on that. Here you have user agent. You first have to select your user agent. If you select this asterisk sign, it means it is for all robots. If you simply type Google bot, it means you can only restrict Google bot here. So this is your user agent. In that case, you have to simply mention your directory path, which page you want to block or which page you want to allow. This is the rule here. You want to allow this or disallow this. For example, for user agent Google bot, now the rule is for disallow, and here you have to mention one path here. For example, WP admin. This is the path we have. You have to simply click on add. After that, you again want to add any other rule. You have to simply click on allow or disallow rule. Select your user agent, type your directory path here, and after that you have to click on save changes. And this will reflect like this: user agent, Google bot, disallow this. So this is how you can create your robots.txt file. Thank you so much for watching this video. So in this video, I'm going to explain you what is sitemap and how to implement sitemap. In your WordPress website, what are the special plugins you can use, and with the help of this, how you can create your own sitemap of your website. So let's start with the sitemap. First, understand what this sitemap is. So a sitemap is a file that is your text file, usually in XML format, which contains a list of all your website pages you want Google to know about. It should be located in your root folders of your website and be accessible to search engine crawler. What happened here? This is your website, and when your crawler first visit to your website, then they first find your sitemap and they crawl every URL mentioned in your sitemap. When is the sitemap really important? So for website with the many pages, a sitemap helps search engine discover pages that are new or updated. And also for the website that don't use good internal linking practice, so a sitemap is a great way to give information to the crawler about your website pages. And also for a new website that don't have many incoming links, so a sitemap will serve as a discovery tool for that particular website. So that's why we can say that sitemap is really important. Now, submit a sitemap using the Google Search Console. We have one option in the Google Search Console with the help of which we can submit our sitemap. Another option we have is we can create our sitemap with the help of one plugin here, which is mentioned in our all-in-one SEO plugin, which is mentioned in our WordPress plugin site. So this is the two-step process here. These are the two processes here which we can do. If I'm explaining you with the help of Google Search Console. For this, what you have to do, you have to simply visit on your technical SEO site and you have to simply create that. Let me explain you. Sitemap generator, you have to simply visit on that. In that case, we have one sitemap generator here from which you can automatically generate your sitemap. That is your small SEO tool. Any website you can use for create your sitemap. You have to simply mention your URL here. You have to simply modify your date and how many pages do you need to scroll. You have to simply mention that and then you have to click on generate sitemap. Once you are done with your sitemap creation, after that you have to visit to your Google Search Console. Google Search Console. You have to simply click on that. You have to click on start now. In that case, you have to click on sitemap under the section index. In that case, you have to simply enter your sitemap URL, that is your sitemap.xml, which you already generated, and then you have to click on submit if you are not submitted. See here, as I already submitted my sitemap, that is submitted on December 4, 2021. So that's why we can't do it again. But if you are not submitted your sitemap.xml, then you can take help of the Google Search Console or you can simply add sitemap. This is the one way of adding sitemap in your website. The second way of adding sitemap in your website, which is very simple, you can do it with the help of WordPress. Here, this is WordPress account here. As I simply log in my WordPress account here. In this, we have one plugin which I already downloaded, that is your all-in-one SEO. For this, you have to simply visit on your plugin section. You have to click on add new and you have to visit on your all-in-one SEO. After done with that, you have to visit on your all-in-one option, which is mentioned in the left hand side of your screen. In that, you have to simply click on this sitemap option, which is individually available here. That is your sitemap option. You have to simply click on that. In your sitemap, the first thing you have to do is you have to simply enable your sitemap from here. You have to simply click on enable sitemap. If you already done with your sitemap, you have to simply click on this open sitemap preview, where you can see the sitemap of your website. This is the sitemap of this particular website. And simply check your website already have sitemap or not. You have to simply put sitemap.xml just backslash of your domain name. Now, if you want to do some setting about your sitemap, for this what you have to do, these are the links per sitemap, how much links you want to allow, you have to mention that. Your post type, you want to include it every single post in your sitemap, or if you want to exclude something, then you have to simply visit on the additional pages and then you have to simply mention if you want to exclude any particular post or the pages here. If you want to exclude any specific tab here, then you have to simply put it here. If you want to give some priority here, for example, some of the pages you want to mention in the top, for example, if there is any new update and now you want this particular update on the first, in that case you have to simply mention here. So by this way you have to simply create your map. After that you have to click on save changes after done with this type of sitemap setting. So this is the second way of creating your sitemap. So after done with your sitemap, you have to check whether your sitemap is submitted or not. Now the next question is how to remove a sitemap from Google. Just to remove your sitemap from Google, here we can take help of the Google Search Console where we submit our sitemap. Here you have to simply check your sitemap option under the section index where we submit our sitemap just now. So you have to simply select your sitemap file from here. By clicking on these three dots, you have to simply click on remove sitemap. Let me explain you how you can do that. For this, you have to simply go to your Google Search Console. Here you can see this is your sitemap. You have to simply select that. After that, here you can see your sitemap options here. These are the pages available in your sitemap, and here you can see. Simply click on these three dots and click on remove sitemap. This is how you can remove sitemap from your website. This is how your sitemap look like. Now, what are the key learnings we get from this particular video? So, a sitemap, which is a very useful tool for SEO. Through the sitemap, you can control which page of your website you want to be the part of search engine's index. You can also use it to give search engine information about your multilingual implementation in case your website is available in more than one language. So submitting a sitemap to the Google is a straightforward task, and you can use any of the above methods to let Google know about your website. And once submitted, Google will monitor the sitemap file for the changes, so you don't have to resubmit it every time you publish or update any single. In this video, I'm going to explain you about Schema Markup. What is Schema Markup, which is very essential in technical SEO. So in this video, we will learn how to generate Schema Markup for your website, how it is important in SEO terms, and how you can check your Schema Markup for your website, and if your website is not having Schema Markup, in that case, how you can change it. So let's start with the basic definition about Schema Markup. What exactly that Schema Markup is? So the Schema Markup is a code that helps search engine to understand your content and a better representation it in the search engine. With the help of this particular code, here we help our search engine understand our website in a better way. Let's suppose here we have two different websites and both websites having same type. In that case, to understand the search engine about your website address, URL, context, it might be difficult. So just to make your search engine work easier, here we create one Schema Markup where we have some structured data like some specific keyword like your @text, @context. We use this specific keyword, and here we generate one schema code which helps search engine to read our website. Schema Markup is a way to describe your content to search engine in a way they can understand. And this is done by adding a piece of code to your HTML that consists of predefined tag, or you can see semantic vocabulary that search engine understands. Now the question is why it is important. So Schema Markup powers rich snippets which often have high click-through rate than your regular search engines. So this means that we are getting more money, because in case of Schema Markup, here we help search engine to understand our website in the better. So this is the one advantage which we are getting, and what advantage we are getting from the Google, that Google will give us higher ranking and higher click-through rate. However, the primary function of the markup is to help search engine better understand your content. Now, how this particular structure look like? Let me explain you how Schema Markup code look like. So this is just a set of tags which is added in your HTML code. These are not visible to users but can be reached by search engine when crawling your pages. And the structured data can be in the form of microdata or JSON item. Don't worry if this is too technical for you, because as we can see here, we have a very easy ways to add your structured data to your website without knowing any technical details. So here you can see this is the one preview of your structured data where we have this HTML code, and in these HTML code we have some special tags here like your context, type, URL, name, contact point. So these are the fixed tags. You can say a fixed structure which schema markup is adopted. So in order to make their job easier and faster, major search engines have agreed to a set of common standards, and which are known as schemas. So schema cover many content types including your article, video, images, but also different type of entities like your organizations, local businesses, people, and many. So just to make your search snippet informative and attractive, search structured data enhances your website presence on the search engine result page with rich snippet. This means that your entry in Google search result will be more attractive and informative than others, and this will lead to better click-through rate and more visits to your website. Here you can see this is an example here that with the help of structured data markup, how the structured data enhance your website presence on search engine result page. Now, the schemas are great for local SEO. For your local SEO, here what we have to do, for local SEO, here we have to generate one schema markup. With structured data, you can give search engine more information about your local businesses, including address, contact information. For this, what we have to do, we have to simply mention in the type that is your local business. And when you simply select local businesses, then you have to give details accordingly. And then the schema markup is generated according to the local businesses. And in conjunction with a well-organized Google My Business pages, you can boost your local SEO. For your shopping campaign, so structured data markup is also required for Google shopping campaigns. When setting up your shopping campaigns on the Google ad, you need to have micro data on your product landing pages so that Google can verify the data submitted in the shopping page. So without this micro data, it is very likely that your shopping campaigns will not be optimized. For your AMP pages, so the schema markup is also required for your AMP pages, which are your accelerated mobile pages, rely heavily on the data, structured data for some of their advanced features. If you want your AMP pages to appear in the top stories carousel on the mobile search result, then you need to have structured data implemented on your AMPs. Now, for your voice SEO, so structured data markup also helps you in your voice SEO. So currently, when you voice search something on the Google, so it might give you a voice answer. And if there is a featured snippet for that search term. Now the question is how to add schema markup on your website. So now that you are convinced about the importance of the structured data for SEO purposes, now let's see how you can use it on your website. So before understand that, let me first explain you how you can create schema markup. So for generating your schema markup, let me take help to Google. I simply visit on Google and I simply type on Google, that is schema generator. Here we have result. Let me select first one, that is your technicalseo.com. On this particular site, here we have the schema generator tool. In this particular tool, what we have to do, we have to choose which schema.org markup would you like to create. In that case, you can choose your article. In that case, you can choose your blog posting, any new article. If you want to create schema generator for your breadcrumbs, you have to select that. If you want to generate your schema generator for event, then you can choose that. Also for your FAQ, how to, for any job posting, for local SEO or for any local businesses, we simply choose local businesses here and then give information accordingly. For any particular organization, we choose organization. For logo, for contact, for social profiles. For any specific person, any specific profile if you want to generate, for that you can simply choose person. Then for your shopping campaigns, here we can choose our product here, recipes, video, or for any website you want to generate schema markup for your site link search box. So these are the type of schema generator available here. So you can generate your schema markup accordingly. Let's suppose if you want to generate schema markup for your organization, then you have to simply click on organization. In that case, you have to simply type your organization type. Let's suppose your organization type is NGO, then you have to select that. You have to type your more specific NGO. If you have, type the name of your NGO here, then type the URL of your NGO here, any contact if you want to add, or any social profile if you want to add, then you have to choose that accordingly. And now in the right hand side here, you can see this script. This is your schema generator here. You have to simply copy that and paste in the head section of your website if your website is not on WordPress. But if your website is on WordPress, in that case we can take help of one of the plugins and then we can do that. Let me explain you that. So before explaining that, let me explain you some of the special common uses of schema markup. So before getting into the implementation part, you need to know which structured data you have to use. These are the common cases available. First we have for your blog part. If you have a blog, then you can use the website schema to give Google information about your website, logo, name, etc. And also the article schema for your articles and the blog post. For your e-commerce website, you can also use the product schema, which include details about your product, price, name, reviews. For local businesses, here local businesses can make use of the local businesses schema as well as website. Now the question is how to implement. The one way of implementing this is a manual editing, which I already explained you, like with the help of Canonicalization.com. Here you can manually create that and simply add it in the head section of your website. And the second way is to add through. Now let me explain you how with the help of particular plugin you can. For this, let me visit on my website. So this is my website here. Let me log in that. Let me log in my WordPress account here. Now we are done with our login part. After that, you have to install one plugin, that is your all-in-one SEO. So install your plugin. We have to simply visit on plugin section, and here you have to click on add new, and in the add new section you have to simply mention your plugin name, that is all-in-one SEO. So after done with your installation part, your plugin will appear in the left hand side. Here you can see that is your all-in-one SEO. Then you have to click on that all-in-one SEO plugin and you have to select search appearance. When we visit on search appearance, here you can see this is the snippet preview of your website. Here you can see this is the preview here. This is the separator character here. This is the home. Then you have to simply scroll down and here you can see one knowledge graph, which is your schema markup generator. In that case, you have to choose your person or organization, which your website, like here you have to choose organization. If your website represent to an organization, then you have to mention your name of your website, mention the phone number here. You have to select your country code here. Then your contact type, that is your manual entry type, any customer support number you are providing, you have to choose that. Then you have to choose your logo here. After done with that, if you want to do your local SEO setting, then you have to simply click on your go to local SEO option, and then you can also do your local SEO setting. And after done with that, you have to simply click on save changes. This is how you can create schema markup with the help of plugin in your WordPress, which is very simple. Now you have to check, is your website already having schema markup generator or not. For this, what we have to do, for testing your schema markup, we can take help of the Google Structured Data Markup tool. Here, to make the manual process, which is a bit easier, we can take help of the Google Structured Data Markup tool, where you have to open your Structured Data Helper tool. You have to select the type of the schema you want to add. You have to mention the URL of your website and you have to click on start. This is how your Structured Data Manual Helper tool works. This is to create schema markup for your website. So this tool will load your web page in the left pane, and in the right pane you get a list of the available tags for the selected schema type. And all you have to do now is to highlight the areas of your website and assign them to tags. Then it is recommended to you use the Jordan LD markup format. The generator output is a script you can insert in the head section of your web pages. Just before adding to the website, you can check using the structured data testing tool the validity of your code. So for checking the validity of your code, here we can take help of the structured data testing tool. For adding structured data with the help of a plugin, as I already explained in the WordPress, it is very easy to use the plugin as I already did. Now, adding the schema using the used SEO plugin, as we already discussed one plugin which is your all-in-one SEO. You can also take help of your used SEO plugin, which is also a good plugin here. That is the free version of the used SEO plugin, has built-in support for a number of the schema, including your web page, organization, person, article, images, video, local SEO. And all you have to do is to go in the search appearance, same as we did in the all-in-one SEO plugin. And here you have to choose whether the site represents an organization or a person. Here you have to choose. You can also click social and add the URLs to your social media pages. The plugin will associate your page with your social media pages using the same as tag. The web page, article and image schema is handled automatically by the plugin, so you don't have to do anything. Now, how to check? For this, we have to simply visit on the tool that is known as Structured Data Testing Tool. And in this, we have the two ways to troubleshoot structured data error with the Google Search Console. URL inspection tool, that is the one way. Enhancement report, view the report under the enhancement section of the Google Search Console. And the Google will show your detail about the various features such as your logo, product, sitemap, site link, search box, and many more. The second, we can simply take help of the structured data testing tool. Let me explain you how you can do that. For this, we have to simply visit on Google. You have to simply type structured data testing. In this, you have to simply click on that. You have to click on Schema Markup Validator, and then you have to mention your website URL. Let's suppose my website URL. Let me copy that. You have to click on Run Test. If your website having Schema Markup, then this is available here. Here you can see that is your Schema Markup. That is your type, ID, URL, name, description. Everything about your website is mentioned here. That means that your website having Schema Markup. Now, the key learnings from the Schema Markup is the structured data is important for SEO, and it is something you will need to consider sooner or later if you want to stay in line with modern SEO practices. So the first step is to check whether your website is using Schema Markup data, and the easiest way to do this is to use Google Structured Data Testing Tool and test your homepage and other pages. If you use markup data but there are no errors in the testing tool, then it may be easier to hire a developer to do the necessary fix. And if you don't have the schema on your pages, then use the methods described above to add. So this is all about Schema Markup. Thank you so much for watching this video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about breadcrumbs. What are breadcrumbs? What are its role in SEO? In this video, we will cover how you can add breadcrumbs in your website and how breadcrumbs impact your website. So let's just start with a basic definition about breadcrumbs. What is a breadcrumb? So breadcrumbs trail is a small menu usually located at the top of a page, used as a navigational aid which shows the path to go from the current page back to the home page. Let me give you with the help of one of the example here, that is this. Here you can see that we have this particular page. This is our landing page here, and before this landing page, here you can see we have one home page and we have another page. So this navigation is known as breadcrumb trail here. So breadcrumb trail starts from the home page, then it shows the category name, and then the current page. So each step in the path is clickable. You can also open this particular category page here. You can also visit to this particular home page here. Now, we have different type of breadcrumbs available. One is your hierarchy based breadcrumbs. Another one is your dynamic breadcrumb, and then your history based breadcrumbs. So what are these? Let's understand one by one. First, we have hierarchy based breadcrumbs. Hierarchy based breadcrumbs are the typically breadcrumbs you can find on the blog or website that have a simple hierarchical structure. Here, let me give you one of the example of one of the company, that is Amazon. Here you can see that we have this particular page, that is computer accessories and peripherals. This is our current page here, and here you can see that we have a hierarchy, that is electronics, which is your home page, computer and accessories, which is your category page, and computer accessories and peripherals, which is your current page. So this type of breadcrumb is known as hierarchy based breadcrumb, where we have hierarchy of your home page, category page, then you have current page. Next we have dynamic breadcrumb. So as its name shows, dynamic. So dynamic or attribute based breadcrumbs are used in case a product has many attributes. Here you can see we have one example here, that we have one e-commerce website, and this is the example here, that this particular product belongs to shoes, sneakers, black and matte. These are the attributes of the specific product here. So in that case, we can simply reflect that to make the navigation easier. So this type of breadcrumbs is known as dynamic breadcrumbs. Next we have history based breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs path trail is built based on the pages a user has visited. Let's suppose here you visit this particular page. In this you further find any subcategory, then you simply visit them. Again you find any subcategory and you visit. So this type of navigation breadcrumb is known as history based breadcrumbs. Now the question is, why are breadcrumbs important? Why are breadcrumbs important for your website? Why you are using them? So simply just to make your navigation easier, because that's the main role of the breadcrumbs, and that this is the way user love them. Because if you simply put breadcrumbs here, then people also know about your previous pages, your category page, your home page. So they encourage people to visit more pages of a website just before they exit, and thus they reduce bounce rate. Also, they help search engine boards during the crawling and indexing phase, because when search engine crawler visit to your website, and when they find that you again have some other pages as well, so they simply crawl the information which you also put on another pages as well. So crawler can identify the breadcrumbs and may use the breadcrumb structure to gather more information about the web page and your site. Google shows breadcrumbs information in the search engine result page instead of showing the parallel link of a page. So that is also one of the important features of breadcrumbs. So another feature you have is that Google can understand better about your site structure. You can also, it helps in increase your click-through rate. It also improves your SEO ranking, because if you have higher click-through rate, that correlates with your improved ranking in the search engine. And the more people who click through to your website, the more Google will favor your site in search results. And also low bounce rate, because breadcrumbs can lower your bounce rate since they are offering visitors a alternative way to browse your site. So these are the most important factors of breadcrumbs, why we are using. Now, breadcrumbs SEO practice. In that case, you have to make sure that breadcrumbs are enabled and visible to the user, and you have to also make sure that the breadcrumbs which you created are mobile friendly, and you have to add breadcrumb schema as well. So these are one of the important factors for breadcrumbs. Let me show you a live demo on that, how you can add breadcrumbs in your website. For adding breadcrumbs, let me visit on my website. This is my website here, and in this particular website we have one plugin here which is known as all-in-one SEO. First you have to install this particular plugin. So for installing this particular plugin, you have to visit on plugin section, and then you have to simply search all-in-one SEO, that is AIOSEO. That is the plugin here, and here you can find this is the plugin here. You have to simply click here, that is your install now, and after done with the installation part, you have to simply click on update. You have to simply click on activate. After done with your activation part, that particular plugin you can see in your left hand side. In your left hand side, just below the setting option, you can see all-in-one SEO plugin is there. In this particular plugin, you have to visit on journal setting. In your journal setting option, here you can see that we have free version available of this particular all-in-one SEO. In this particular free version, we can enjoy so many features here. But if you want to go with the pro section, you can also visit that. In your journal setting option, we simply visit on Breadcrumbs. First, you have to make sure that your breadcrumb feature must be enabled. And all you need to do is to make sure that it's enabled and add a code snippet or short code to your site depending on where you want to show the breadcrumbs navigation. So first we simply on that. Then we have different options available here. That is your shortcode, wingset, PHP code. In that case, what you have to do for PHP code, here you can see that we have simply a code there. So just by copying that particular code and pasting it in your theme editor, the breadcrumbs navigation will be displayed on all of your pages. This is the feature of your PHP code here. So you have to simply copy that code and simply paste it in your header section, header.php section. After that, we have shortcode here. So sometimes you may only want to show breadcrumbs navigation on specific pages. That's why we also added the option of show breadcrumbs on your individual posts and the pages using our WordPress shortcode. In that WordPress shortcode, here you can see that we have a simple code here. You have to simply copy the code and paste it just below the page on which you just want to display that particular navigation. We can also create Gutenberg blog just to make it easier, and we can also choose that widget option. Then we have some settings here which we have to do. Here you can see that we have breadcrumb setting available here. This is a preview here. Here you can see about your website designing, because we know that your website design is important and you don't want anything to run it. So that's why we made it possible for us to change the breadcrumb separator. And here you can, this is the breadcrumb setting. And there are many variations to choose from, so you can easily find something that fits your taste and design. This is the preview here. This is the separator here. Here you can see separator, and we also have some other options as well. After that, we have home link, which is used to add or remove your home link page. So we also want to make it easier for you to add or remove your home page link from your breadcrumbs navigation. So we added the simple option to switch it on and off. If we simply put it on, we can also mention here, let's suppose here you can mention that is a home page label as home in the breadcrumbs navigation, and made it possible to change the home page label to the text of your choice. So after your home page option, next we have is your breadcrumbs prefix. In your breadcrumb prefix, you can also add your prefix and suffix here. After that, we have show blog page. So all of you amazing bloggers out there, pay extra attention to this. If you have a set of post page in your WordPress setting, you can show your blog page next to the home page in your breadcrumbs navigation. Here you can simply on that, and here you can add. If you want to set it off, you can also. So after your blog page, the next you have to set your archive format. So we also want to make it easy for you to set the taxonomy or format of your achievements. So we added the post type name, that is your smart tag by default, and give you the option to enter your own text before it. Next we have search result format. In that case, just like in the archive format, you can use the search result label as is or customize it with something like you search for or here's what I found for to entice people to click on the link. So this is the search result. Next we have 404 error format. So one breadcrumbs feature even lets you format the 404 error label and add instruction to what action users should take if they visit a broken link on your site. So this is crucial for your SEO and business, since most users immediately click away from your site when landing page on a 404 page. And here you can simply mention like your 404 page not found. This type of error you can use. Next we have current item. In that case, you can show current item, link current item. You can add accordingly, like which format you want. We want this to make customize your breadcrumbs navigation a simple and hassle-free process. So that's why we can use this particular feature. Next we have some breadcrumbs template here. These are available in the pro version. In this particular template, here you can use your category and tags. You can use your default categories for your categories and tags here. You can simply edit your category part in your pro version here. And you can also edit pages as well. Like you can use a default template, show home page link, show parent link item. You can use that. That is a quick process which is totally pain-free for your users. But for this, you have to purchase that particular pro template here. You can also add your author here. Like you can simply add your author name at the end of the page here with the help of this pro template. Or you can also enable your show page breadcrumb. That is, you can simply enter your own text just before the page number format if you wanted to show. For example, a blog page and then the number. So you can simply mention that. You can also add your pageage format as well, just like your blog page. You can do that. You can also include or remove your unselected taxonomy terms. If you want, you can simply include or remove that. So these are some of the features you can find in the pro version of your breadcrumbs here. So if you want to go with that, you have to simply click on upgrade or pro your unlock template features. So this is all about your breadcrumbs. How you can simply add breadcrumbs in your website and how breadcrumbs help you and how it is important in terms of SEO. Let me show you how these breadcrumbs look like. For this, we have to simply visit on this particular website. Let me visit that. Let me show you how these breadcrumbs look like. Let me visit on this particular page. Here you can see that this is our current page, that is your marketing chronicles. And here you can see SEO, digital marketing goals, home. These are your category pages and home is your home page. So this is how your breadcrumbs look like. So this is all about breadcrumbs. So thank you so much for watching this video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about canonicalization. Canonicalization, which is the canonical URL, which are an essential part of SEO and especially important if your website is WordPress website. So in this video, we will talk about what this canonicalization is and how this canonicalization help you in rank your website. So let's start with the basic definition about canonicalization. So canonicalization, which is a tag, that tag is a snippet of HTML code, that is your HTML code, and it defines the main version from duplicate or similar pages. And it's look like here you can see link, rel, canonical, href equals to example.com, where that particular link rel, which means that this link is a master version of that particular page, where href equals to example.com, which means the canonical version can be found at the specified URL. So let me explain you with the help of important example here. That particular example is in WordPress, where you can have multiple ways to reach content. You may have a blog post about the difference between cat and the dog. Let me just take an example here. The difference between cats and dog. This is the blog post you have, and which you have placed in two categories. This would result in two URLs that lead to the same blog post as full, and that URL is your https backslash, that is, let's suppose mydomain.com slash cats slash the difference between cats and dog. And another URL you have is http mydomain.com, that is dogs, the difference between cats and dogs. So as both URL points on the same post, so a canonical URL would tell search engine which is the preferred URL for your post, so that they don't think you have duplicate content on the same site. So that's why we need canonical URL. So now let me show you why is canonicalization good for SEO. Because it helps Google make sense of duplicate content and minimizes the risk that they pick the wrong URL as a canonical version. With the canonical tags in place, Google can correctly consolidate link equality, index, and rank the main version of your content for relevant queries. Now, you should use canonical URL on the page that have similar content. Here, we already gave you one example here. The another example we have is a canonical URL will tell Google which page to include in this index. Here you can see that in the content of a second page, that is your second page is similar to the content of that particular parent page. So these pages have same content, that is the parent page and that is the another page here. But we have same content for that. So during the crawling process, search engine can understand that these two pages have the same content and they have to decide which one to keep in the index. So by adding a canonical URL to the child page, that will point to the parent page, you solve the problem once and for all. So in that particular thing, we have to practice the link, which should include like this, like your link, create canonical href, and you have to mention that particular parent name, and you have to add this particular link in your child page, so that Google will understand that this page already have same content and the link of that particular page is there. So these are some of the best practices for canonicalization. We have to use the URL inspection tool in our Google Search Console. In our Google Search Console lecture, we already discussed about this particular tool, which is your URL inspection tool. Why we are using that particular tool? We use this particular tool to figure out is that particular page indexed or not. Just to check the indexing of the page, we are using that particular tool. So we have to use URL inspection tool in the Google Search Console to see which page Google consider to be in the canonical version or not. So when deciding between using a redirect or canonical tag, then go with the redirect unless the user's experience would be diminished in some way. So when choosing which page to use the canonical tag, you have to go with the version you think is the most important, a good proxy in the URL with the most links and the traffic. So the canonical tag should only be used for identical or near identical URLs It is not to be used for topical grouping. So these are the ways, these are the some of the best practices for canonicalization. Now let me show you a live demo how you can add canonicalization in your website. For this, let me visit on our website part. This is our website here. This is the editing part of our website. Here I simply log in my WordPress account. Here let me visit on one of the posts here. Let's suppose we have two different posts here. Let's suppose these two are the same posts. Let's suppose these two posts having the same content. Now let me explain you how you can add canonical tag in this particular page. So for adding your canonical tag, what you have to do, let's suppose this particular page having the same content as the previous page. For this, you have to simply install one of the plugin which is known as all-in-one SEO setting. And when you simply done with your installation part and activate that particular plugin, that plugin will show here. When you simply enable that particular plugin here, then just before your post, when you simply scroll down your post, you can find out this particular all-in-one SEO setting just below your post. Here you have to visit on this advanced option. In your advanced option, just below your robots setting, you can find canonical URL, and you have to mention the link of that particular post in this canonical URL option. How you can get the link from here? For getting the link, what you have to do, let me simply visit on that particular post. Let's suppose this is the post we have, which is the parent post. You have to simply copy that link. For copying that link, you have to simply visit on this post section on your right hand side, and you have to simply check your snippet preview, and you have to simply check the parama link here. This is the parama link we have. Here, this is the parama link. In this particular parama link, what you have to do, you have to simply copy that particular link from here. You have to simply copy that, and you have to simply paste it in your child post. Let's suppose this is child post you have. For this, you have to simply visit on that particular post, and let's suppose this is the child post you have. In this child post, you have to simply visit on this advanced option. After that, you have to simply mention that particular URL here. That is your canonical URL. But this feature is only for licensed all-in-one SEO Pro users. So before this, you have to take this particular Pro version here, Pro version of your all-in-one SEO here. After that, you can do canonical URL in your website. So thank you so much for watching this video.